Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to LinkedIn Tuesdays. It's March 4th, 2025. Our speaker today will be Locke Alderson. We'll hear from him in just a couple minutes. Please note this event is being recorded and is currently live only on Zoom. The recording will be on the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording, and we are not currently live on Facebook as the Facebook app has disappeared. For those on Zoom, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please just enter them into the chat window. Just click on chat and enter your question there. Also, this is a great way to connect with other people and network with other people who are on the call today. So feel free to put in your name, what if you're looking for any jobs, target companies, put in your LinkedIn address, and connect with everybody else who's on the call. Also, when you put your comments in the chat, let us know what city you're watching from, so we have an idea about that too. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2008, I started careerdfw.org, a website to help those in the Dallas-Fort Worth area who are unemployed. In 2012, I launched careerusa.org to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon, or if you see me in person, I usually have copies with me. Since 2007, except for last year, I was leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. The group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over throughout 2007, and then other volunteers took it over in 2024 when I was out sick. And I've also been a member of the PIC crew, which is also known as the Dallas Practice Interview Team, and I've been doing that since 2017. We have 4 outstanding speakers who talk about LinkedIn. They each talk about it from a little bit different point of view. They change and they update their stuff every month, so you always find something new. So today our speaker is Locke Alderson. He's a career consultant, recruiting consultant. He was a contract recruiter. He's going to talk about how to use LinkedIn for job hunting, strategies to get results. So Locke, thank you for being with us. And when you unmute your mic, it'll be all yours. Nope, you're muted. Control A.
Sure. Are you going to share the screen with me?
Yep, you can, or I'll stop sharing and then you can share.
I'm having difficulty. Jeff, sorry about that. I'll just run it back to the beginning. Well, as Jeff mentioned, I am a retired recruiter. I retired in 2010. Back in 2001, I started working with those in job and career transition. Been doing that until about 2013 when Mullen Associates out of New York, the international outplacement firm, asked me to assist them with their outplacement efforts. And so I started on that and got started as well. As a job hunter, and I have been a job hunter at least 6 times in my career. I won't count all the contracts that ended and I had to restart a new contract. But part of that time, I relied on the Lord and my faith to help me through that. Again, one of the things that helps me with that is blessed is the Lord, because day after day, he helps bear my burdens. And as I say, each of those times that I've been unemployed, has had some challenges with it, some disappointments, some discouragements. I know one of the times when we moved to Texas, I was let go out in California and interviewed with 19 companies. 16 of them said no. 2 of them said we'll keep in touch. and one of them brought me to Texas with an offer. So that was what it is, because my wife was a stay-at-home mom. We had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. Well, 9 months later, I was again looking for work and started my own business, which goes against conventional wisdom, was starting your own business with a Rolodex of contacts and 6 months of income in the bank. None of those happened. So it was a question of turning to my faith, the Lord, to see me through some of those challenging times. And again, LinkedIn is, why are you using LinkedIn? Again, one of the questions that people often ask is, what do you use it for? What's the purpose of having LinkedIn? Well, it's probably started out as a networking opportunity for sales and marketing people. Recruiters quickly adapted to that and found out that it was a way to find people on LinkedIn. They have an online LinkedIn profile if you go your resume online. And today it's one of the most important tools in a recruiter's toolbox. Again, because LinkedIn is one of those areas that's like any relationship. A job relationship consists of a couple of things, one of which is showing up on LinkedIn, that's getting found, and that's your profile, starts with your profile. And the second thing part of any relationship is opening up or sharing who you are, what you've done, how well you've done it. Well, that's what LinkedIn allows you to do. So again, the things we want to talk about today, and I'm not going to do all of LinkedIn because Jeff has 3 other speakers that cover it from different perspectives. I want to talk about your profile and how you update it and how you utilize it. Are you optimizing it? And how recruiters actually search, and then searching for jobs yourself, because that's one of the ways that, as I say, that makes it easy for you to get found. Well, it all starts out with your LinkedIn profile. Does your LinkedIn profile attract hiring managers and recruiters' attention? That's a question that you need to ask yourselves, because first impressions are vitally important. They say about resumes, they also say it about LinkedIn profiles. You have 6 to 10 seconds to get my attention, whether you want to do that or not. So first impressions are vitally important. So as I said, it all starts with your profile. Here's a copy of mine, an older version of mine. But you notice the profiles is that first impression. If your headline is the only things that people see about you, what does it convey about you? What does it say? Does it address what the recruiters really care about? And that's what it's all about. Taking a look at that, you can see that as profile. Nothing wrong with that. I've got a good banner shot that's there. And those are the kind of things that you want to be known for. And I've got other things that are here. The questions that you want to ask yourself, how long has it been since you updated your profile? Does your profile like an old rusty car that needs a car wash and a tune-up or a paint job? Again, one of the things I learned in a LinkedIn presentation about a year ago is a freshness guarantee. How long has it been since you've updated your profile? Well, think about when you go grocery shopping, if you're like I am. I have to do that this afternoon because we just got back from a 2-week vacation and the refrigerator is almost empty. But if you look at the produce section, you want to look at produce that's fresh. It's not, a barrel of apples. You don't want the green and grody one. You want the red ripe ones if you can. And likewise on lettuce packages, you look at that best used by date, because when I got home, I pitched a bag of lettuce that we hadn't opened before we left, and it was kind of brown. And I don't like brown lettuce, to be honest with you. So those are some of the things that you need to take a look at in terms of the freshness guarantee. There are a number of things that you could do with your resume or with your profile to increase the freshness. It used to be on job boards, if you open up your resume and add a comma or take out a comma and then save it, it becomes a fresh resume because something has changed about your resume. So those are some of the things that you could do, and we'll point out some others on your profile that you could do, adding things, taking things out, going in, and your activity on LinkedIn is also one of those things that is the factors that are considered when somebody does a LinkedIn search. Let's take a look at your profile. What do you see? What gets your attention in your profile? Here are some things in your profile that you need to have to make it to the top of the rankings. One of which is your all-star status. Do you have a professional headshot? Again, it doesn't have to be one taken by a professional photographer. You can do a selfie, but if you do a selfie, you don't want any glare on your glasses and you want a nice clean background. It doesn't glare. You don't want other people in the photo as well, because it's just about you. You can use a banner photo. You can see the banner in my background that's there. That's a picture from one of our cruises in the Caribbean. And Jeff uses his a slightly different way, puts his information about him, also has his contact information there. The headline, on your profile is to use the job title that you're applying for. If you don't put anything in that headline section, guess what? LinkedIn's going to do it for you. They're going to choose your last job title in your employment section. The other thing that you want to have is use the open to work section. I say that guardedly because those of you who are in stealth mode looking for a job while you still have a job may not want your employer to know that you're actively looking. But that still can be done. You can still use the open to work to just notify recruiters. And it's a way to add additional job titles because one of the things that recruiters look for when they do job searches, job titles. And you can have multiple titles. What are some other titles for your profession? As a recruiter, one of the ones now is a talent associate, talent assistant, things that you can use to get attention to that. You can also use the open to work section to say that you're open to relocation. Again, that may be important if you're looking to move to other parts of the country. And as a career consultant with people out of work, that was sometimes one of the things that they did. You want to complete your about section. It's actually your summary, and you have about 2,000 characters there that you get to play with. And we'll probably look at a couple of profiles today, and I wouldn't be surprised if one or two of them only have a couple of paragraphs. Well, you're shortchanging yourself in that regard. So you want to open it up. In your contact information, okay, in the about section, I say that you have to have it in the first line of your about section, because if I've not directly contacted you, and we'll look at the contacts and see how well we're connected on some of those examples. If we're not, I may not have a way to get in touch with you. Your contact information may not include your email address or your phone number if we're not directly connected. So make it easy for that recruiter or hiring manager to get in touch with you. It can also be about at the bottom of your about section. It can also be in your banner or your headline behind you. Jeff has it there in his. Your experience section, you want the job title that you currently have. And if you have an unusual job title or a title like Member of Technical Staff 3, which a couple of companies I worked with had those kind of job titles, you want to use the title that's generally used in industry or in the job postings. Make it easy for them to recognize you. And you also want to include a brief description of your duties. I include on that, we'll get to that, we'll talk more about that, and some of the results and keywords from your profession. Your skills and your endorsements. Again, something that we'll talk about further. Education, award, certification, and development. All too often on the education side of things, people just list the time when they got their degree. They don't mention any additional courses that they may have taken along the way. And then lastly, you want to have some recommendations. Usually it's two for your most recent job and maybe one for each of the prior jobs that you've had. Well, let's take a look now, moving down on the line. This is a verse of scripture again from Jeremiah 29:11. It says, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Well, that again, one of those verses of encouragement that I like to look at periodically, if not every day. So what does your headline tell about you? Does it tell who you are? To identify what you do and how well you did it? And is your headline a grabber? Does it get the attention of the recruiter? Well, let's take a look at some sample headlines. I run these together on one slide so that you can just look at some. Nothing wrong with unemployed or retired or seeking new opportunity, but they don't present you in the most positive light. Formerly a VP of Finance, again, one of those that's not the most positive views. Experienced digital design engineer seeking new opportunity is more informative. The recruiter may pique their interest, but they click on your profile further to open it up. Because otherwise, the first 3 lines is about all that it shows. Again, you can read some of the others like a social media strategist, content manager seeking new opportunity, print and digital media, which is media is implied, public relations, an abbreviation, marketing and corporate communications. Again, some of the others are abbreviated like supply chain, procurement and purchasing, senior accountant, general ledger, financial reporting and cost, executive assistant. Some of those kinds of titles, when I've done searches with helping those in career transition, there are about 40,000 executive assistants in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Senior accountant, the same thing. Project managers, again, a lot of details there. IT project manager with ITIL, Scrum, and Scrum Master and Agile is important because it's for IT recruiters, those are pretty succinct description of things that people have some experience with. You can also use this chart to help modify some of your titles. Again, adding adjectives and adding several titles and what value that you bring in some examples. Let's take a look at some further examples. Well, before we do that, let's take a look at my headline as it was. That URL down at the bottom, headlines at sharethrough.com. You can evaluate your headline on LinkedIn and see what it brings out. My initial evaluation was about a 55 rating. And when I made some changes to the second headline, that you can see some adjectives that are added there, accomplished recruiting consultant, successful executive recruiter. When that rating, that ramped up to about a 75 rating. So that LinkedIn URL or that URL at the bottom is valuable to help you assess your headline. And again, if anyone wants a slide deck with all of this information, because I'm going pretty fast, just send me an email at lockealderson@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to send you a copy of the whole deck. Well, here are some more descriptive headlines. Notice accountant, senior accountant, increasing productivity in highly regulated industries, like public utilities, like the Atmos Gas or Power Light companies. Again, product manager, product program manager, often interrelated, and expansion in the aerospace industry. And customer relations, again, you can see some of those. Project manager, again, explains high tech to customers. It's very valuable because working with software industries like Oracle and Siebel, again, frequently we have business analysts that had to be able to explain the high tech, be able to translate the requirements from the customer back to the techies. And also the project managers had to be able to provide understanding to customers of what the software would do for them. So those are just some titles. Here are some focus titles that you can see. A systems analyst in the healthcare industry utilizing digital indices. I need to change the spelling of that. For hospital administration to reduce the paperwork by 54%. That's significant if you've ever gone to the hospital and had to go through the sign-in process there. Senior global operations manager that had worked at Amazon. Again, some key companies, if you've had that key experience, you want to put it down. Financial services, creating value through strategies that increase sales by 40%. That's into marketing. Again, that's something to consider. There's another verse of scripture that you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Trust in the Lord forever, for the Lord himself is the rock eternal. Again, those scripture verses have helped me immeasurably through those times. Are you open to work? That banner from about 9 o'clock, about 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock, that green banner looks like a horse banner, I guess, at the races. Do you want to have it there? The reason that you want to have it there is it allows you to add 5 job titles and specify locations. You can limit the exposure, if you will, of your profile to just recruiters who subscribe to the LinkedIn software license. And again, LinkedIn has a software license for the LinkedIn Recruiter, and then there's a Recruiter Lite. The LinkedIn Recruiter that Kirk Vandemotter, who's on one of the speakers on this program, he spends about $10,000 a year for each seat, each license seat that he has. I think the last time I heard, he had 2 licenses for his firm. Or like Midge Duncan, who's somebody else that I work with, she has Recruiter Lite, which is $5,000 a year, limits her to applicants in the United States with full access. So these are some of the things that you can do with Open to Work. You notice you could put titles in there. As I start to add executive recruiter, I started to add career. There's a drop-down menu with some artificial intelligence that you can select from. Work locations or workplaces, you can select on-site, hybrid, or remote. Again, more companies are going back from remote to on-site. And it's causing a sore stir, if you will, in the job market among those seeking other work. You can put locations down there. You can have multiple locations. And where are you in your process? Are you actively looking, or are you just starting your process? Moving down your LinkedIn profile, checking on your analytics homepage. If you check on that, the tools that are there, the post impressions that you've had in the last 7 days, how many profile views, how many have actually taken a look at your profile during that time? How many followers did you have on LinkedIn? And how many search appearances have you appeared in? Again, the search appearances is what you want if you're looking for a job. But those things kind of change time after time. Moving a little bit further down your profile is your features section. You can display examples of your works. Like your resume is one of those things, although I hesitate to recommend putting a resume because it's pretty static, meaning like it's cast in concrete and no changes can be made to that one. But if you have presentations like I do, I've got some of my presentations there. Or if you have a portfolio of work, my son has a digital profile, a digital portfolio of the work that he's done. He's a motion graphics designer on a project right now in San Diego for a week, where he's doing the motion graphics for a convention. But you can also have any publications that you have there. There's a way that you can do that and keep that fresh. Moving further down your list, there's your about your summary, which is actually the about section today. As I said, you have about 2,000 characters. I do recommend it, like most people, that you keep your paragraphs to 4 to 5 lines. Keep them short so they don't run together. This is a particularly good one, and that's why I've included it. It has about 10 lines in it. And you notice how the individuals use bold in that to highlight some of the experiences he has as a financial planning and analysis individual. And again, he's used an abbreviation there of FP&A. You do want to explain what it is. If you use it at least, explain what it is at least once. Or if you have something like AMA, there are about 20 different AMAs: American Medical Association, American Marketing Association, American Motorcycle Association. So again, in the back of the older versions of Webster like that. But this is a particularly good one. Notice at the top of his summary has an email address. Some of the things that you want to do like that. But your about section, you can use, here's some others. Now LinkedIn accepts that you can use first person. Third person is generally the one that you want to use in resumes. And a lot of the profiles that I see in LinkedIn use the third person. But this one particular one was for somebody that worked at Disney World and all the things that they've done, their competencies, their coaching, training, talent development, and transition, and the relevant experience where they'd had that experience. Okay. The second example, I'm a strategic, creative, hands-on marketer. In most resumes, if I saw that as a recruiter, I'd say that's kind of fluff because there's no example or nothing to support those examples. But again, LinkedIn allows you to do that and allows you the space to expand on that as well. Moving on to your experience section. This is a copy of my profile. Again, notice the Oracle icon logo there. Again, if it's a well-known logo, you will import that into your profile for you. Again, you want to have the job title, the company name, and dates. Your duties and responsibilities, again, try to limit those to about 3 to 5 lines. Again, make it easy for people to read it. I've used a couple of bulleted accomplishments there. I also included an email from my former manager, director at Oracle, director of recruiting for North America when I left Oracle in 2010. But those are some of the things that you can do with your profile in terms of your experience section. The other thing that you can do, as I mentioned, is adding some accomplishments. I've added 2 from my experience at Oracle. I was selected as recruiter of the quarter from among 50 recruiters, meaning I had the highest number of hires in those 2 quarters from all 50 recruiters, and selected again from that group of people to go to the club or the consulting organization, which was about 5,000 consultants in the United States as a representative from human resources. The other things that you could do with your profile is to add additional sections to it now. If you are out of work, you definitely want to include a section saying that you're looking for a job. And you say, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And yes, it does, because that's one of the values that LinkedIn gives to your profile when it conducts a search. You can also add sections for volunteer experience and projects. Again, my volunteer experience, because I did it a long time ago, is included in my actual work experience. And it also allows you to include projects. When I was a recruiter at both Oracle and at Siebel, because many of the people I recruited were from the IT industry, software people, they included a page usually of every project that they'd worked on in great detail, the software, hardware systems that they'd worked with, how detailed was the project, what did it involve. I'll show you some examples of that. Here's an example of adding a profile for a current position. Notice I've used the title. This is the job title that you might want to generally use. It can change periodically, and that's a way that you can go in and change your profile and update it by changing the title periodically. The employment type, you're looking for full-time. The company, you might want to just limit it to industries rather than a specific company. And also the location, as I started to fill in Dallas, notice the artificial intelligence that appears there to select from. Excuse me. You can add a project, as I mentioned. I just happened to pick up on as program manager for adding speakers when I was a member of the Dallas-Fort Worth Staffing Management Association. Again, you can add that and some detail of what's involved there. It gives them more of an idea of who you are as a person. It fills out some of the information about that. The next section we'll want to talk about is your skills section. This is what it looks like. It used to be that LinkedIn allowed you to have 50 skills. They've upped that to 100, although my version of LinkedIn has not been updated accordingly. And LinkedIn will display 2 or 3 of your skills. If you don't select them, LinkedIn's going to choose the one that they think might be the best for you. Again, that's not necessarily the way that you want to do it. But you notice you can add any of these that are here. You can click on those. Just click on your cursor and it will do that and add those skills. So what do you want to do about that? Well, one of the things that you want to do about finding skills is another something that I think Ruth used this in her presentation about finding your skills. You can use that URL there at the top, GitHub.io at careerexplorer.com, and you can do that. And if you click on this, skip to the next page, it will allow you to do that. It has about 100 different skills that are listed. It doesn't give that, but it includes all the things that are part of that. You can see those listed here for a project manager and how valuable that is. It gives you an evaluation. Again, that URL link is right there that you can include. To find out about you, you can put in that information. For your skills, again, in your skills list, organized for maximum input. Well, if you look at your skills list, it applies, this one applies to, I think now it's usually about 2 that are displayed. They may not be the ones that you want to display. So if you do that and you click on this 3 dots to the side there, it will allow you to go here when you're in the pencil edit mode to endorse your skills or reorder them. By holding your cursor over the 4 lines at the right, you can drag up or down. I have executive search, consulting, and talent acquisition. That's the ones that are there. Some others that are down there, human resources, professional services, again, and screening are some that I've had in the past. And the numbers that you see on mine are a number of recommendations I've had over the years. It used to be pretty easy when you opened up somebody's profile. There were check boxes that you could check on somebody's experience. But again, you want the top 3. And again, going in and reordering these periodically will allow you to refresh your profile. Again, I mentioned freshening your profile is important because it keeps it more current. Okay. Next question that you want to do is to optimize your LinkedIn profile. Take a look at the other people. Do a search for yourself. I entered recruiter in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and it came up with 26,000. Now, all of those are not direct competitors. They're not all directly looking for jobs right at the present time. But again, if you aren't finding yourself in the first 10 screens, that's 10 thumbnail sketches per screen, that's 100 people. Again, you're probably not going to get found by a recruiter. Okay, unless they're looking for some very specific thing. So take a look at somebody's actual profile and see what's in it. Again, this one has recruiter. Again, she has open to work and she has the recruiter down there, but she's also got talent acquisition specialist, talent acquisition partner, some of the things that she wants to talk about. So those are additional titles that you can have. Also in her title, she only has senior recruiter. In your title underneath your name, you have the opportunity to use 220 characters. Too many people just use that short. She has about 30 characters there as senior recruiter. She's shortchanging yourself, but very specific. She came out as a #1 because recruiter appears enough times in her profile that she ranks that highly. We're taking a look at other people. Let's take a look and switch gears a minute and take a look at job hunting itself. How are searches run on LinkedIn when LinkedIn does a search, and how do recruiter search, and then how to recruiter search results, and then searching for jobs for you. It's a job alerts and filters, different aspects of the job hunting prospect. You receive a score for each section of your profile and activity on LinkedIn. Your search ranking is based on the sum of these values that you get. It includes job titles. Generally, recruiters are looking for a match on job titles, and these are the places you can have it in your headline, your open to work section, your about section, and your employment section. The best example I can think about job titles, when I ran it was when I moved from Siebel Corporation to Oracle, we were still looking for Siebel consultants. I ran a job posting in Minneapolis, St. Paul, looking for a Siebel consultant. And I had 75 responses, which is a pretty decent response, not too many, not too few. 50 of those did not even have the word Siebel anywhere in their resume. Think about that. If they aren't in there, they're going to probably get rejected. Of the remaining 25, I would look to find out how many times they'd used the word Siebel, because Siebel as a user might have 1 or 2 times. Siebel as somebody who'd actually installed Siebel might have 10 or more times in their profile. That's the same kind of logic that's applied for LinkedIn when they do searches about job titles. Keywords and skills, industries and specific companies. There are some industries like healthcare where it's very difficult to land a job in healthcare if you don't have prior healthcare experience. There's some which makes it difficult. So how do you get that? Because I've known people that it didn't have, went from Coca-Cola to a healthcare company here in Plain, well, actually in Richardson, across bush from where I currently live. Okay, your education and geographic location are important because most recruiters search for people that live within 25 miles of where their job is, unless it's one of those jobs that requires travel or relocation. Current and prior companies are important in your length of service. Again, people do look at your pedigree. What are some of the companies that you've worked for? How long were you there? Did you stay only a month, or were you there for several months or a couple of years? And then recruiters look at your summary. This is a screenshot that I took of Kurt Venematter's presentation. He has that LinkedIn recruiter license. He can search globally for candidates. At that time, there were 710 million candidates in LinkedIn. Again, it's gone up to over 1 million today. So this slide is a little out of date. This screenshot, I think on this screen, he has 4 or 5 screens like this where he can enter data. Notice out here, job titles is 1. Locations, skills and assessments, companies, schools, year of graduation, industries are things that recruiters can search on. He can identify probably a half a dozen, maybe 10 or 12 these blocks, identifies what he's looking for, narrow that 710 million down to about 70 in 30 seconds, letting the computer do the work. So let's take a look at what a real recruiter screenshot looks like. Results. This was for I don't remember what this one was. This was for a product manager in the Seattle area where I was looking for. But you take somebody from the San Francisco Bay Area, and product managers and product marketing are very similar in many companies. So he would look for those kind of people. While he was looking for a product manager, senior product manager, we might consider. So there's a number of factors that are there. Again, companies in the Seattle area. Sorry about that. The Seattle area, you can notice Microsoft, Amazon, and Fluke Corporation. And he was looking for University of Washington, it was one of the schools. That particular search drew about 7,000 responses, and about 462 are following the company, following somebody's brand, if you will, which are one of the ways that you get found on LinkedIn is if you're following a company or following an individual. Okay, this next one is for a project manager in the Chicago area. Again, this one had in the Chicago area, there were about 43,000 people that had project manager in their profile, but only 83 of them were open to new opportunities or looking for work. And 229 or 230 of them were actually following the company. And you could do that and follow a company and what they're looking for. You might get invitations to follow a company. And 900 are actually following somebody's brand. Now, these are the people that are looking in the Chicago area, but we'll consider from either coast, New York or San Francisco. Again, project manager had to have business strategy and analytics. A little bit different type project manager as opposed to somebody who's implementing software or doing a hardware installation. Again, Northwestern is a school just north of Chicago. So some of those things. And the companies that they're looking for, specific companies, Facebook, Google, and LinkedIn, are some of the companies they actually look for. Searching for jobs yourself. Again, you have two opportunities to do that. Actually, there are 3 that I can think of, and I thought of that this morning. Again, one is you could do the search box there that's shown first. You can look in the jobs category, and we'll show that in just a second. The third area is if you go over here and you search and you look at, there's a tab that's, I think, on the next slide. Okay. You can see that for home where you can look at people and networking. And there's an area to find groups, because sometimes groups have jobs that are posted that are not posted on LinkedIn. Reason being is that they're limited to that group, and people in groups tend to post jobs for people like themselves. And it doesn't cost them anything to do that. posting on LinkedIn is about $250 to post a job on LinkedIn. But you can post something in your name. In the job section, you can post the job title or the company name if you want there, or some other things that you can look at, and location. If you don't edit a location and you haven't done a prior search, it's going to default to the United States. So you may want to add a location that's in there. Well, let's take a look at some searching for jobs, looking for a job for you. Okay, this was looking for a sales representative because I didn't click on a particular location, it defaults to the United States. And there were about just under 200,000 results. For most people, that's, as a recruiter, that's too many to take a look at for jobs. Okay, but they may be interested. You notice there are a number of filters on the next line that you can use, and then all filters. And we'll take a look at filters in just a minute. This particular one was for a senior accountant in Plano, Texas, just north of Dallas. Again, it's within a 25-mile radius. Again, that's another filter that you can use, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. This particular job is right there at the time. Because I hadn't selected a date, there were about 144 jobs available. That particular job is listed over here at the right, and you can scroll through it, see what the requirements are. But you can refine some of those as well. This one was for a quality assurance. I did a presentation for the Quality Assurance Association here in Dallas about 2 years ago, and just added quality assurance. Well, there were about 2,000, just under 2,000 jobs listed. Well, since most of the people weren't quality inspectors, they were managers or quality analysts, we refined that search by adding the word manager. And again, it narrowed it down and took it down by 90% over that. The other thing is that we did was in the past week, we added a second filter, which is in the past week. And for most of you looking for jobs, I highly recommend that you limit your search initially to the past week. Reason being, you're looking for fresh jobs and jobs that have not already been filled. If you have an unusual occupation, you may want to extend that out to a month. I had a senior quality assurance, not quality assurance, quality and environmental health engineer manager who happened to work in Arkansas. Well, we expanded his search to 4 states, and we went out as long as they've been open on that, and to try and find him any opportunity for companies that had that kind of experience. So let's move a little bit further. This one was for an executive assistant in the Dallas area. Notice it starts to fill in the opportunities for Dallas. But again, one of those things that you need to know is that there are other locations with Dallas, like Dallas, Georgia, and Dallas, Oregon. You have to be kind of specific. And within the Dallas area, you can choose the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, Dallas itself, or Dallas County. So it does give you the opportunity to filter jobs to try and limit your search to within that 20 or 25 miles that you're looking at. In this situation, there were executive assistant, there were 960 jobs available at that time. Again, this is a list of the filters. LinkedIn has revised it again, and that's now on the right third column on your screen when you look at filters. And some of the filters that you can look at, I mentioned the past week, right here, of that initial search that had just over 2,000 jobs posted. 630 were in the last week, and 50 of them within the last 24 hours. LinkedIn has picked up a salary estimate from Indeed.com and added that. The salary estimates are just that. They are estimates. They're not the best in terms of salary surveys. But again, some states are now requiring that salaries be posted in the job itself. California and New York and Massachusetts, I think, are 3 that have added that to it. Another thing I want to touch on is the Easy Apply button. You can apply Easy Apply, and I hesitate to recommend that because if it only allows you to just apply, it will take your LinkedIn profile. Again, it's cast in concrete and may not be customized to that particular company. So that's one, anytime you use Easy Apply, you want to use it. You want to make sure you can add a current resume that's been tailored to the job. Again, you can search by industry, you can search by company specific name, and you can further search by specific location. So those are some of the filters that you can use. And over here, can't see on mine. There's Easy Apply on that. You could clear, and you can go back to your original search on that particular one. Okay, this is something called the filters area. Okay, and that box up there, you could click the filter. You click the radio button to the right. If you do that, you have the option for daily or weekly, and it will send you new job postings that match your criteria daily or weekly. They usually come in between 7 or 8 in the morning. I still get some from my counseling days with others or positions. I worked with somebody last summer in Ashland, Oregon about a job, and I still get some job listing for his opportunities. And again, what it looks like, this is what it looks like, promoted type of job. Wrapping up, some homework that you need to do. Complete all the sections of your profile to increase your chance of showing up at the higher rankings. Okay, and use the name that you normally would use. My legal name is John Locke Alderson Jr. I actually used Locke, but when the telemarketers come and ask for John Alderson, I ask which one, senior, junior, or the third. And I typically ask for the senior, thinking the senior is going to be the one with the most money to respond to their pitch. And I say, well, I'm sorry, he passed away about 20 years ago. Do refresh your resume. Do something in there. Make a change of some type. Reorder your skills. Let's see, do it at least once a week. It'll keep your resume fresh. List the job titles that you're looking for. Okay. And if you don't have one in your headline, it's going to default to your last job title. Do complete the open to work section below your headline and list the five job titles. If you're in stealth mode, I said you can limit the search, limit who sees it to recruiters. There's an option when you have open to work on that. List your phone number and email on the first line of your profile in the about section. You can also have it in your banner behind you, if you will. I think Jeff, when he does his, has those there. Experience section, list the company names and job titles, your duties, and the measurable results. They add credibility to your experience. Keywords and experience from your profession. Choose those to support and choose the skills to support what you're looking for. You can reorder those periodically again to refresh. That's it. LockeAlderson@gmail.com is how you do that. I'm going to end this section. And hopefully my profile is going to show up, Jeff. Jeff,
Yes.
is my profile showing?
No, all we see is the LinkedIn presentation.
Okay. Does it show now?
Now we see it.
Okay. Well, what I'd like to do now is to take a look at somebody's profile. Again, for some reason, I've got this recording. Okay. Somebody have a profile that we want to take a look at.
Raj, do you want us to look at your profile?
Somebody want to look for a job.
We'll be glad to look at your profile, or if you want a job opening you want us to look for, we'll look. Raj says yes. Okay.
I'm about to say, you can look for mine. Look at mine. I was trying to
Spell
get
your
off.
name for me. Spell your name, please.
TRACYHUDSON.
I'm sorry, you did it fast and
I apologize, and I speak quickly. TRACY.
Tracy.
Yes, and Hudson, like the Hudson River.
Marketing?
Yes.
Okay, is that you? The first
Yes.
one?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look at Tracy's profile. Come on. I'm gonna look at her full profile. We're not directly connected, so she's the secondary. First thing I want to do is look at her contact information. Remember I mentioned about having your email and phone number there? That's what I see on Tracy if I'm trying to get in touch with her. Okay, so it's very vitally important that she has her contact information somewhere where I can see it.
I have it in the first line in the about section.
Well, it's actually down on the third line, Tracy, if you want to look at it there.
But I thought it needed to be above the fold. It needed to be on the first line.
Well, notice that there are only 3 lines that show, and that's the
Right.
reason I suggest that you put it on the first line.
Okay.
have a
I was
fold-
just trying to get it above the fold. Okay, I got you.
Okay, because only 3 lines are going to show.
Right.
Show that. So that's good that you have that. Okay, now let's take a look and see what her about section has. I have to click see more because there's only 3 words that are 3 lines that are showing. For some reason, I can't see more. Okay.
You cannot. Well, that's
I
interesting.
cannot. Okay. That's
Okay, well,
that,
that must be a
that could be
setting.
that could be me on my software too as well.
Oh, okay, because I want to make sure my settings are correct.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's take a look at her experience level. She's currently with Star Marketing, and that's remote. She doesn't have the location, but that's not too
It's
important.
this consulting project work here and there as I'm in a full search.
Well, you're in the Chicago area. Notice that at the top. Okay. Now look at her headline: High Impact Marketing Leader, Data-Driven Growth and Performance Marketing. Again, I would list more job titles. Okay. And you have not. You are, if you have open to work. You have not opened it. You are open to work. Okay. Performance marketing, director marketing, global marketing. What are some other titles for marketing? Okay. That you may, when you look for a job, what are some of the other titles? That's something that you want to consider. Okay. Okay. Notice here on her experience at AT&T, the different AT&T jobs are listed, linked there together. If AT&T has acquired a company, it's also going to show that way because mine will show my Siebel and Oracle experience as one employment. Okay. Education in Michigan, which is great. Skills and licenses. You can take skills test now on. Come on. I'll read it.
You're not
Dude.
quite hitting the X.
I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to.
You're not quite hitting it. You're just off a little bit.
Some reason it's not letting me do that. Okay. I'm back. Let's try sharing again. Tracy?
Yes. Hold on. I want to make sure you can see because that about thing was off. So I want to make sure that
Well,
my settings are
that's the little
correct.
bug that's on Locke's computer. Sometimes we see it and sometimes we don't.
Okay, I was just
Yeah.
concerned that my settings were off, and I'm like, wait, I want to.
No. For everybody who's on the call, because Locke is not a first degree connection to Tracy, that's why he could only see the LinkedIn address and the contact information.
Right.
You
But what about the about section? You should be able to click that.
Yes, everybody should be able to see you in the about section. So that's why we always suggest that you put it in the about section so that it will be seen there. But if you are a first degree connection, you should be able to see all the contact information Tracy would have in her contact information.
The about issue that you said that was from his side, not my side, as far as the setting.
Locke has had, we've had that issue with Locke a few times here.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
That just concerned me.
One thing I wanted to look at, Tracy, for you. Hopefully you're on the screen.
I'm here.
Are we looking at Tracy's profile?
Yes.
Okay. Her skills that she's listed: marketing strategy and mobile strategy. Notice she has 100 skills. Okay. They are not going to show. It's going to show she has 2 now because LinkedIn allows you to have endorsements and where you've done that. Again, what you want to try and do is to have the 2 most relevant skills shown. Okay, and it's not letting me click on that. Most relevant skills that are shown that supports what you're looking for. And again, you can reorder that when you click on it. When you open it, there's a pencil and you can open that and there's going to be those 3 dots there. You click on it and you can
Most recruiters are not going to look at the other 98 skills. They're only going to look at the 2.
It's only going to show 2. So you want to have the 2 most relevant.
What about the skills per job though? Because I have the top 5 skills, you know what I'm saying, underneath each job section, and you can see, and those are visible.
That's okay. That's fine too. That it allows you to do that. That's to overcome some of the limitations there. But again, the mobile marketing strategy, those are the 2 skills that people are going to assume that you're the strongest in.
Gotcha. Okay.
You make that assumption and you know what happens when you assume something.
Amen.
Let's look for somebody else or look for a job.
Let's see, we
Thank
had
you.
somebody else. Tammy, you wanted us to take a look?
I just wanted to give 2 tips for Tracy.
Yeah.
Tracy, you might want to consider putting your contact info, your email address, and your phone number in your banner, because that's always observable.
Yeah, I'm
If
not
you
putting my
can-
phone number in my banner because that's my only phone. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I will put the email address because that's specific to the search.
One thing that
And
you
the
can
other
do,
thing too is I heard that you may want to put an extra space in your email address in the about section. One of the things that people
I
do is
do. I have spaces in there so they can't scrape me.
exactly. Okay, you got it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I work for tech companies, so
Tammy,
What
we
does
have
that
you.
mean?
What's
Sorry,
your
what does
last
that
name? And
mean?
we'll look at you.
Can you clarify that, Tracy? What did you mean by that?
by the spacing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means if you have your email address, like mine is tracyhudson3005@gmail.com. It's just regular, then all these bots and all the different whatever crap that comes your way, they can scrape it, automatically have a system scrape it, and you just populate into all these, and you get a lot of trash coming your way. This limits the scraping. If you have that space before and after the @ sign, it won't be able to pull it and populate it, and you get all the crap.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Appreciate
Of
that.
course.
A good thought, Tammy. Tammy, do you want us to look at you or search for a job?
Sure. I would welcome the feedback.
Okay. Last name.
Gidry, G as in George, UI, D as in David, RY.
Okay. An MBA, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one thing I will show, if I can show Tammy. Why am I not getting Tammy to come up, Jeff?
I don't know. It doesn't look like well, you're getting into a little hand thing on there.
Well, I'm going to violate one of Jeff's rules right now. You see that connect button that's out there at the side? It won't even let me do that. So
Yeah, something's weird's going on with your,
I'm having that's the glitches. Jeff, why don't you pull up? I'll stop sharing.
okay. I'm looking, Tammy, spell your last name again.
G as in George, UI, D as in David, RY, and it's Tammy with an I.
Apologize. The glitch has got to me.
Yep, all right, let me share, here we go. So there you are right there. So executive good, you've got your title, a couple of subtitles here. You don't have the open to work banner on there, so you may want to add that. So
Thing on your career highlights that you see there, I would add a space or carriage return in the about section so it's not so crowded.
Okay.
Makes it easier to think about it when you have them. It's easier to read. It used to be with the USA Today would be available in hotels and lobbies, or they would distribute it free. And all of the articles in there were short and succinct. So you don't want too much of information altogether. You've got 6 lines in your about section, the first paragraph there. Okay, so break it up if you can into smaller sections. Put in more carriage return. Break up those paragraphs.
3 or 4 lines per paragraph.
Yeah, 4 or 5 lines. The career highlights, put a carriage return after each one of those. But they're easier to read. Okay.
Got it.
People will not look at a block of text, but they will scan stuff that's easy just to look over.
Okay. She's got her featured section. She's got a couple of articles that postings that she's had in there. That's what I mentioned that you can do. Let's scroll down a little bit further, Jeff, and take a look at her experience. She's with Wells Fargo Bank in Chicago? No, what was it, Chicago?
In New York.
New York, okay.
Yeah, once again, break this up into 2 or 3,
At
3 or
least
4
two, maybe three lines that you can do that, okay?
Mhm.
She's got some good achievements listed there. That's fine. Well, I was looking at more with the skills, Jeff, okay, notice she has 42 skills that she's used as Wells Fargo. So 42 of her skills that she has below. Notice these are the two skills that show up: strategic planning and business strategy. But if you click on, when you look at your profile and click on that pencil, it allows you to go into and use that dot, 3 dots together on the right-hand side of the upper of that box at the top, and allows you to reorder those. If those are not the ones that you want to do, and even if those are, periodically go in and reorder a couple of those because it freshens your resume or your profile.
Is there a way to reorganize your skills
Oh, yeah.
under experience, under the experience section? So that, like, for example, right here where it's, okay, right there, where it says deal execution, strategy planning plus 42 more skills. Is there a way to reorganize those just for that one specific job?
Good question. I don't have that idea. Well, you can go in and limit the ones that you have for that job. Okay, that's the way. That's the
I
only way.
have I have a comment for you, Lori. I actually went through that last weekend because I needed to do the same because it looks
Yeah.
crazy. I actually just deleted the experience and re-added it and added the skills, and it was a little work, but actually I'm glad I did it because it refreshes your profile as well, so it kind of lifts that back to the top of the pile, but it made it much more it was just cleaner in its appearance, but I had to do it that way because I couldn't figure a shortcut either.
You can highlight that section with a Control-C and then paste it in a Word document.
Yep, that's what I did. That's exactly what I did.
Do the reverse, Control-C, and then paste it in with a Control-V.
But Tracy, does that reorganize all of your skills overall?
No, it didn't
Just for that
I
one
literally, I
specific-
wanted to take them out because it kept, it populates when you add the skill and it asks you, what job you use it in. And, most of the skills I used it in quite a few. So it just had them all populated there and it was paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. And it just wasn't appealing to the eye. So I wanted to go back to just having a few of the top skills per job. And instead of going to each individual skill, 100 skills like you mentioned I had, and taking each one out, it was just easier to take out the experience section, delete it, but like you said, copy first, but delete it and then just add it right back and then select I think I did 8 to 10 skills per job that were the top ones for that job and moved on to the next. That way, the skills, all of the other 100, they're still in the profile, but they're not, it just, yeah, it just is cleaner and a better look. If you want to talk offline, we can.
Yeah, let's do that, Tracy. I'd love
Sure,
to
no
have you show
problem.
me how to do that. That'd be
Okay.
great. Thank you.
Somebody else want to look at a profile or look for a job? We have a couple more minutes.
I want you to see my about section. That is not, I need you to see that. Because you were able to get into hers. This is making me upset. And I'm like,
Okay, let's take a look at it. Okay.
Hey, Tracy,
yes.
sorry to interrupt. This is Rich Walton. I was able to see your about section.
Oh, were you? Okay, thank
So,
you.
I looked
That's what
because
was
they were talking about
concerning
it
to
maybe
me.
being a bug, a problem with Locke system. So I thought, well, I'm gonna take a look myself. It opened up for me.
Thank you. I just needed confirmation from
You've limited
somebody.
to 4 or 5 4 lines. Again, the only thing I could say, Tracy, would be to put your contact information at the very
Sure, sure. Oh, but you were able to open it this time. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. Again, a good way to describe it, and top skills that are shown there. Okay, those show up. So there's a lot of new activity. LinkedIn gets refreshed almost every week with some little tweak.
Yeah, so that's really good. How did you add your characters?
Copy paste.
Copy and paste, yeah.
Yeah.
And here's what she was talking about, putting a space before and after the @ sign. So that, she doesn't get,
You don't have a space on either side of things like that when you put in titles. That's another thing when you have titles like your job title, you don't leave a space on that like she has leader and data driven. There's a space on either side. If you don't leave a space on either side, that leader data driven is not going to come up as a search term. It will not show up. The other thing that she has is she has a follow button over here on her. So that's, remember, one of those things about thing is following people. You can follow companies as well. She's got the open to work open there. And notice one thing is the connect button. I don't know whether that's on there. You want to touch about that now. Okay, if you have a blue connect button, you want to add a note. Always add a note. If you
Always.
have it white, you want to explain that, Jeff, about the blue and white connect buttons?
So when you see a white connect button, let's see, I need to go to somebody else. White connect button like this, it will send the automatic invitation, just the generic invitation out. You want, if you want to connect with somebody personally, go to click on their profile, and that's when you would be able to find a blue connect button. In this case, it's not coming up like that. Because they've selected to have people follow them, not connect with them. So.
Okay. There was another question from the chat. Jeff, Raj, I think you had a question. Go ahead and repeat your question.
Yeah, I just had a quick question for Tracy. In your about section, you had some text bolded. I haven't been able to do that.
Yes, I will put in the chat for everybody. There is a site for you to do that. Let me just find I keep it open. So it's in one of these open things I have. Give me a second. But
Thank
it
you.
is, of course, yeah. And you can bold, italic, and all those things. The LinkedIn text formatter. I'll put it in now for everybody.
Cutting and pasting didn't allow you to do that, Tracy?
You have to cut and paste well, no, cutting and pasting with bold and italic, no, only for the characters. But in order to do bold and italic and all, I had to use this LinkedIn thing. I just put it in the oh, sorry, I got to put it in for everyone. My bad. Okay, it's in the chat, everyone.
And here you can see on my banner, I use a word cloud. I put my email address and my phone number right up in the banner. So if somebody wants to get a hold of me, they can do that. It's always funny when I get a LinkedIn request from somebody and they want to connect. And will you send me your email address? And I said, well, I don't know where you found it at because you couldn't find my profile without looking at it. So.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, typegrow.com, tools, LinkedIn, text formatter. So if you want what Tracy does to get the bold, you can. All right, let me,
Before we leave, Jeff, anybody who wants the slide deck, just send me an email. Be happy to send it to you. It has a lot of stuff that I covered, and I covered it pretty fast.
yeah, so there's Locke's email address. You're welcome to reach out to Locke and get that information. Let's see here. Just a few more things. Next week, next Tuesday, Ruth Lipsky will be with us to talk about LinkedIn tools for job seekers. Ruth works for Lee Herrickson, and she works with job seekers on a daily basis. So she'll have some really great tips and tools to share with everybody. Career DFW and Career USA, we're putting on training 3 days a week. Tomorrow, every Wednesday, for those of you who live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you can come to Christ United Methodist Church for the in-person practice interview team. You can actually watch an interview on the first, second, third, and fifth Wednesdays. On the fourth Wednesday of the month, they do it online for everybody who's located out of town. They're scheduling 3 interviews per week right now. And it's a great way to practice your skills. You can, if you want to if you want to schedule an interview, just email dallaspitcrew@gmail.com and they will put you on the schedule. This Friday at the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group, we're going to have open forum. It's at 9:30 in the morning. We were either in person or on Zoom. And you can get in, and any question you've got about your job search, you can ask, and anybody who's online can offer their feedback and help like Tracy did today. So come join us Friday. They do that the first Friday of every month. The second, third, and fourth weeks, Fridays of the month, we have speakers scheduled. If you'd like to join the Career DFW or Career USA LinkedIn groups, you're welcome to join one or both. You do not need to live in the DFW area to join the Career DFW group. We've got over 15,600 members in the Career DFW group. Both groups were started when we started the different websites. This session was recorded and will be on the Career USA YouTube channel only. It will not be on the Facebook page because the Facebook link didn't want to work today, but it will be on the YouTube channel. It will be up later this afternoon. This actually will be video number 660 on the Career USA YouTube channel. So there's a lot of great channels you can go back to. If you subscribe to the page when a new video is posted, you'll find out about it. The YouTube channel looks like this, Career USA, and click on playlist, and it will become the different list that we put the videos in. In this case, you want to click on LinkedIn, click where you see that red arrow, view full playlist, and it'll become a list of all the different LinkedIn videos in chronological order. Like I said, this one will be at the top, but it won't be late this afternoon before it's there. If you're not receiving emails about our workshops and you'd like to join the Career USA mailing list, just scan this QR code or send a blank email to Career USA, the + subscribe at groups.io, and you'll get a weekly email with all the online sessions along with the links that you can do. You'll also see all the online links on the front page of Career DFW, Career USA. Open up the calendar links and you'll see it over on the left side. Career DFW, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We have no full or part-time employees. All of our speakers, Locke's a volunteer, I'm a volunteer. Everything I've done since 2008 has just been my little charity to give back to everybody. Thank you for joining us today, everybody. Locke, thank you very, very much. There's that QR code again.
Jeff.
If you just landed a job and you want to make a donation, there's the donation tab on the left-hand side. So Locke, thank you very much. And thanks to everybody. And we hope to see you Friday morning online.
Thank you, everyone.
Right. Thank you.
Tracy, I sent you a message, by the way.
Sounds good. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.